Three-point shooting continued hot elsewhere in the country as Fletcher Magee set the all-time NCAA record for most three-point field goals in a career with 509 and counting. Magee tallied 24 points in Wofford's win yesterday, and they will take on 2-seed Kentucky in Jacksonville tomorrow. But it was quiet elsewhere in the country as seeds 1 through 4 combined to go 8-0 with no upsets. Thanks, guys. No severe weather here in Columbia today as we have beautiful spring weather here on this Monday. Temperatures sit in the upper 70s and will remain that way throughout the remainder of the day, leading into a cool evening as temperatures will drop down into the mid to upper 50s. All of your full forecasts coming up later in the show. Now, back to you guys in the studio. Though the proposal is not yet set in stone, about $250,000 could be taken out of South Carolina Special Olympics funds and about $18 million nationwide as the Education Department faces an overall budget cut of about 10%. Now, back to you guys in the studio. And whether it be John Applegate, Robert Caslen Jr., Joseph Walsh, or William Tate, one of these men's journey will end here as the next president of the University of South Carolina. For Carolina News, I'm Dominic Delfidio. What makes sports special? Is it the players that score the most points, the players with the most goals, or the players that play with all their heart to warm hours? That is what the Special Olympics is all about. Following the announcement of potentially eliminating federal funding for the Special Olympics, South Carolina Special Olympics President Barry Coates knows that the impact would affect more than just his program.
The direct impact, quite honestly, would be at the school level, and it would limit some of the things they do, transportation, equipment, services that are provided in the schools that cost money.
Though the federal government may be cutting funds for the third straight year, South Carolina Special Olympics President Barry Coates knows he has a helping hand right here in his backyard. State
government's very supportive. State of South Carolina Department of Education is very supportive. I mean, they understand it, they get it, they like what we do, they support it.
If funding for the Special Olympics gets cut, this would affect over 60 school districts and over 150,000 students statewide, including Coates' own daughter, Erin, who's a Special Olympic participant at Lexington High School. Though Coates has seen this happen before, as funding has been cut the last 2 years, with the potential for cuts for a third year in a row, his confidence remains unwavered.
We actually support the Department of Education and give them an opportunity to see that they're meeting those standards and goals in the schools through things that we're doing. So, we're helping them hit a lot of those benchmarks.
This is more than just politics. This is about inclusion, unification, and equality for all types of people. Though the proposal is not yet set in stone, about $250,000 could be taken out of South Carolina Special Olympics funds and about $18 million nationwide as the Education Department faces an overall budget cut of about 10%. Now, back to you guys in the studio. Sometimes in sports, you'd rather be lucky than good. And this is the case for former USC basketball player John Reagan, who was diagnosed with hypertrophic cardiomyopathy in February of 2016, which forced him to give up his dream of playing Division I basketball.
I just remember everything just kind of like shutting down, my eyes closing, and then just losing control.
Hypertrophic cardiomyopathy is a disease that causes the thickening of the heart muscle and is the leading cardiovascular cause of death in young athletes and can come with little or no warning.
Most common symptoms can be palpitations, which is the heart racing too fast or beating too fast, chest discomfort, including chest pain, shortness of breath with activities. Those would be the most common issues. However, with the athletes who are young and healthy, a lot of times these patients who have hypertrophic cardiomyopathy will have no symptoms.
52% of hypertrophic cardiomyopathy victims are African American, with 67% of these athletes playing basketball or football, and the average age of diagnosis being 17 and a half years old. And unfortunately for these athletes like John, the only cure for hypertrophic cardiomyopathy is to give up the only thing they've ever known.
With hypertrophic cardiomyopathy, there are treatments and there's methods to cure it. However, if you're a competitive athlete and that's your passion, that's something that you would probably need to give up for the rest of your life.
Though Reagan had to give up his playing days, he still stays around the game as a student coach under the guidance of Frank Martin, but knows that doesn't come close to being out on the court playing for the Gamecocks.
Watching other people play, man, I could be out there right now. I can do that. He can't execute it, I can do it. I know I can do that.
Though his playing days are long over, his diagnosis didn't stop his love for the game of basketball, as he hopes to become a graduate assistant after earning his degree here at USC. For Carolina News, I'm Dominic Delfidio. Hey diddle diddle. just a man and his fiddle. Lifelong Blythewood resident Jim Graddick never thought playing one of the smallest instruments would lead him to Southern stardom as Fiddler of the Year in the Carolinas.
Oh, it feels really great. I didn't even know such a thing existed, really. I wasn't really trying for it. I was just doing what I do on a daily basis, and then I got the news that I was nominated, and it was such a shock and a thrill, and I never thought in a million years that I would actually win.
Though his passion is music, Jim exited his comfort zone and decided to pursue a degree in engineering at the University of South Carolina, but decided to put his college career in jeopardy by risking it all for his musical passion.
I auditioned to the School of Music and was lucky enough to get in on a probationary basis, so they didn't know if they were going to keep me or not. And luckily for me, they kept me, and I was able to graduate with my degree in music education.
His degree in musical education led him to Freeway Music, where founder Don Russo accepted Graddick's musical genius.
Just to have people like Jim who win awards like this, whether it's a state fiddle championship or being the Fiddler of the Year in the Carolinas, I mean, that's an incredible honor.
Though he has the awards and recognition, his goal is to pass his talents down to younger generations, to give them the help that he received as a young boy, to get them to even bigger heights.
I really look forward to every day that I get to teach students. I have some really incredibly talented students right now, and I'm very excited to see where they go with their careers.
Though Graddick enjoys the money and the free food at events he plays, his gratification is the music. For Carolina News, I'm Dominic Delfidio.
Pretty good song. I liked it.
Yep. Well, we have our own superstar ready to give us more weather. Dom?
Thanks, guys. Temperatures are beautiful here in Columbia right now. Sunny, 76 degrees, hardly any humidity, which makes for a beautiful day, and a nice brisk wind at about 4 miles an hour. As we'll look elsewhere around the state currently, we see Orangeburg coming at that mid-75 range right there. Aiken, 77. Greenville, surprisingly warm at 78 degrees. And we see Rock Hill a little bit cooler at 74, joining Florence as well. And we'll look down the coast. Things are a little bit cooler down there. Myrtle Beach at 72. Hilton Head at 72. And Charleston a little bit warmer at 76 degrees. But things will get a little bit chillier tonight as we look at the lows for this evening. Columbia will hit about 54 degrees. And throughout the Midlands as well, we'll hit 53 as Aiken, Orangeburg, and Florence all clocking at 53. Things will be a little bit chillier there in Rock Hill, 51 degrees. Greenville still pretty warm, 55 degrees, but down by the coast it'll be a little bit warmer than usual. 60 in Hilton Head, 57 in Charleston, and 56 in Myrtle Beach. But like I said earlier, the warm weather will stay. As you look into tomorrow, it's going to be hot here in the Midlands. 87 in Columbia, and 85 throughout the rest of the Midlands, all the way from Florence, Orangeburg, and then into Aiken. And the upstate will be pretty warm as well. Greenville, 86, Rock Hill, 85, and Charleston, surprisingly warm down there at 87, unlike the rest of the coast that sit at that mid-70s. Next, we'll take a look at the pollen map, because that's going to be pretty heavy down here in the southeast. So if you have allergies, I suggest get some Zyrtec or something, because it is bad. And then we'll look into the 5-day forecast. Like I said, mostly sunny tomorrow, 87 degrees, and mostly a lot of sun throughout the rest of the week as it's the upper 80s. And then we'll hit the weekend. Things will drop down a little cooler, 79 Friday and Saturday with rain on Friday. So guys, get out and enjoy the weekend while you can. Back to you in the studio. That's right, guys, but we don't have to worry about that rain until at the end of the week, as it'll be beautiful upper 80s throughout most of the week. And then Friday, we'll see some showers and a little bit lower temperatures heading into the weekend. That's all I have for you. Back to you guys in the studio. This Sunday, a California mosque was set on fire as a homage to the New Zealand mosque attack. Both incidents are part of a growing rise in hate crimes around the world. While Muslim communities are grappling with recent events, our reporter Maggie Rhodes shows us how our own Muslim community is reacting. Since the shooting, New Zealand has banned the manifesto of the suspected gunman and created new gun laws in hopes of avoiding more hate-driven terror attacks. Healthcare will be a top issue in the upcoming election after the White House called for the end of Obamacare. On Monday, President Trump announced his administration will support a ruling by a Texas judge to end the Affordable Care Act. According to an Urban Institute report, around 20 million more people will be left uninsured if Trump goes through with this decision. Democrats in Washington are now defending the act and are working to strengthen it. Actor Jussie Smollett's name is now cleared as all 16 of his charges for allegedly staging a hate crime against himself were dropped yesterday in court. Smollett's attorney said that the actor's fame had no influence in the outcome of the case, and Smollett says he is innocent.
Been truthful and consistent on every single level since day one, I would not be my mother's son if I was capable of one drop of what I have been accused of.
As speculation develops about what exactly happened in the courtroom, the head of the Chicago Police Union is calling for a federal investigation to determine if the actor sent himself a fake email threatening his safety in the weeks before his alleged attack.